did. The idea that they should walk out is for them to choose to do what they want with their football club. I'm not sure how constructive it is. The fact that Moshiri wasn't there might have lost some of its lustre as well, because they're making a point to people that probably subscribe to their point of view. I know there's some people at Everton resist Bill Kenwright, but I think at all times, irrespective of my affection for him, he will have the best interests of Everton Football Club in heart, in mind. Yeah. I listened to Carragher speak yesterday, sort of echoing the sentiments that we had on this show about the ineptitude of Moshiri and probably the likelihood that people like Bill Kenwright and Denise didn't want people like Benitez because they saw the danger signals of bringing somebody in that had made such disparaging comments about Everton in the past. So I'm kind of half glad that it didn't happen, because I don't think it's constructive. And I also enjoyed the fact that Everton got a result, because as much as Arsenal were dreadful, Everton still had to overcome their own jitters, their own challenges at this moment in time, the adversity of two decisions going against them, and a boy that Benitez has signed, setting the world alight.
Yeah, exactly.
Properly
I was pleased about that.
You see a player with confidence. When you see a player with confidence like that, that the goal that he scored, the goal that he created for Richarlison, who was very adept in getting that header back into the goal. Yeah. It's no more than Everton deserved. Arsenal tried to play out a game from about the 56th minute in time wasting, didn't they?
That's right. I looked towards ESPN last night at the stat. Everton signed Damari Gray for $1.5 million in the summer. Yeah. Man City signed Jack for $100 million. Damari Gray, 5 goals, 3 assists. Jack, 1 goal, 2 assists.
That's apples and oranges. You're playing in a Man City side that he's acclimatising to, with a style of play which is so different to what he's played for before. Everton are clunky, going through the gears, trying to find some form, trying to build a side, and you've got one player that's standing out.
True. Farhad, he and I were messaging each other last night. I couldn't get hold of him this morning, having said that. But should he have been there, Simon? If it had been you, would you have been there? I mean, he said he couldn't get around quarantine rules. He was disappointed he couldn't be there. Well, that's what he said. The rules are complicated.
If he can't be there, he can't be there. Right. Because technically, if you're flying in from a country, you've got to have a 48-hour situation before you can get a 2-day test and release. But he knew the game was on Monday, so maybe he should have flown on Saturday. Well, that's right. Then he would have been there. Yeah. Look, what was the point of him being there to some extent? Because you know what he's going to get. What he was going to get was a section of the fan base having a go at him. Now, that sometimes goes with the territory, but it's a difficult one to swallow if you think you've ponied up £500 million on a football club, and you're going to get some people screaming at you because they don't like some of the decisions you make. Then don't own a football club, because that goes with the territory. You might not like it, you might not think it's fair, and probably at times it isn't fair. Because
would it not have been good for him to be in amongst the crowd last night, though? In amongst them, one of them.
Depends what kind of animal he is. If he's the kind of animal that thrives off the fact that he wants to be engaged with the fan base and communicates well and is a good orator and holds court in that way, then great. If you're not, then what's the point of it? Because you're putting yourself in a way of it. You own a football club. The players and the manager are your representation. And, too often the players and the managers get away with murder, and it becomes the board's fault, because let's be honest about it. Yeah. The performance of that group of players and that manager over the last 15, 16 games, with certainly the last 7 or 8 games, has been nothing to do with the owner. No, that's true. To do with them and their lack of application.
Would you have been there, Simon?
I would have been there, yeah. But that's me. I don't steer away from confrontation. Sometimes I steer into it.
Yeah. I mean, Benitez spoke post-match, and certainly, it's a pivotal moment for them, because it might just prove the boost that they need to turn it around.
I think since I came here from day one, the fans has been really good. The frustration of the fans in some games is because obviously they want to see the team winning, but nobody can complain about the commitment, the desire, the effort of the players. Then we can complain about the decisions in the final third or the mistakes that at the end make us to concede some goals, but not about the commitment. Today, I think that the fans, they could appreciate that from the first minute. So I think that they stick with the team. And today is another proof that if we are together, we are stronger. And it's what we have to do until the end of the season. If it's possible to be sure the players give everything on the pitch, we prepare the games properly, and the fans can support the team and enjoy at the end of every game.
Well done, Everton. I was pleased that they got there in the end last night, because I wasn't happy with certain things that I saw from Arsenal, but we'll get to that in a second. Yep. But Simon, it has been toxic in recent days and weeks at Everton. Is this the catalyst, do you think, that comes at the right moment, pre-Christmas, and they will turn it round?
Look, if you're Everton, you want to play Arsenal every week. because Arsenal were so poor.
Yeah.
I mean, what it did tell you is how poor Everton must have been to be going in behind against Arsenal, irrespective of VAR decisions going against them, because Arsenal were poor. They were pedestrian, they were lacklustre, they were just poor.
Right.
Now, every win is a good opportunity to rebuild. It doesn't alter the landscape. It doesn't alter the dynamics of Everton coming up short. It doesn't alter the previous performances, but it gives them hope and cause to believe that they've got a result now. It takes away the immediacy of the impending pressure that was building upon Rafa Benitez, because Brands first, Benitez next. Right? Yeah. Where after that? And what's going to happen in the window, and who's going to do what, when, why, how, and if. And now what you're hearing, undoubtedly, is Benitez start his engines up now about how he needs more players, because that narrative is starting to come through, because he was asked questions last night by the Sky reporter that was trying to lead him down a path about Brands and confrontation and who he regarded and who he didn't regard, and he started to get into the territory of improving things and looking at the situation. Well, I think the brief you were given was you kind of got to work with what you got to work with, and Benitez being Benitez will now change the game plan. Do I think I think it's a swallow. I don't think it's a summer. I think Everton would, against a better opposition, because Arsenal were poor, and when I make the flippant comment of wasting time from the 56th minute, they were lightweight, they were poor, and they didn't really do very much, and yet still, if Eddie Nketiah had come on and scored that goal, it might have been a very different dynamic.
Oh, it could have been. Aubameyang might have got his foot to that one at the end.
Absolutely.
Ifs and buts. But
I think it. I don't know who they've got next. I'll look in a second, see who they've got next, Everton. But I don't think that this suggests that they're on the right path. I don't think Everton were ever going to be anywhere near the relegation zone for any significant period of time.
They've got Palace next.
They got Palace next. Okay, that's a difficult game. That's a difficult game for them, because Palace come off the back of 3 straight losses. Palace are a better side than 3 straight losses, irrespective of the outcome, and not because I'm my affection for Palace, but because I know that they're a good side, and I think that will be a difficult game. And if they go and lose against Palace, then the Arsenal result was for nothing,
right,
to some extent.
So how does it work now? Marcel Brands is back at home, whatever home is in Holland.
Yeah.
How does it work? Presumably, Mashiri says to the likes of Rafa, right, who do you want? And we'll see if we can go after them. And Mashiri being Mashiri will no doubt try and deliver, whoever it is. There's no middleman anymore.
Well, there's no middleman anymore. And I know there's a lot of rumination about the fact that the whole reason why Brands has gone is really because of the disconnect between him and Benitez, because he didn't want Benitez in the first place.
Right.
And that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, because if you've given Brands a new contract in April, why would you appoint Benitez over him? But again, there was assertions being made by Jamie Carragher that that's what he believes happened, and that's what he believes is part and parcel as the reason why Brands has gone. But to go to your question, yeah, Benitez is going to have an unencumbered, unfettered opportunity to either get supported by his chairman, or most likely, if it's Benitez, back-channel him and complain through the media when he doesn't get what he wants.
Isn't it strange how it works out, though, Simon? We're all concentrating on the 27th minute. The 27th minute, there's going to be a mass walkout. This morning, we are lauding the Everton supporters because they were magnificent and they played their own part in getting Everton and the players over the line in that 2-1 win over Arsenal last night. Of course, what went against them was VAR. What went with them was Ben Godfrey not getting sent off. I think Peter Walton in the Times is right this morning. Ben, you're a lucky boy. But Everton got there. But what on earth is going on at Arsenal?
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.